Okay everybody, Stephen Key here. I'm on a trip. I'm heading back east. It's June 16th, my birthday and Father's Day, and I have a trip back to New York and New Jersey. I'm going to be visiting the Thomas Edison Museum and also giving a little talk at one of the colleges in New York City. But today, on this video, I want to talk about something really important. One of our coaches, Ryan Diaz, wrote the most amazing article on basically breaking the rules. He talked a little bit about our inventRight course and what we do. We have a 10-step system that works, but sometimes you have to change the 10 steps, and that's what I loved about it. He went ahead and wrote about these steps, not quite all the 10 steps, but a few of the 10 steps, and sometimes you have to break them to make things happen. So on this video, I'm going to talk about what you need to do to change it up, to make those changes when things aren't working. In a nutshell, breaking all the rules. Okay, I'm here at the museum, Thomas Edison. I am so surprised of all the things that he invented. Stay tuned, you're going to love these videos. Wow. Today I got to visit Thomas Edison's museum in West Orange, New Jersey, and I have to say, what a great experience. It's every inventor's dream. Thomas Edison earned over 1,000 patents in his lifetime, and most of those inventions came from this facility. Okay, we're gonna talk about sometimes you have to break the rules. Now, I always talk about when you're reaching out to a company, you start to work with this one person, you submit your idea to a company, and for some reason, something's not going right. Now, I'm telling everybody, don't ever try to go around that person. No, you got the right person, work with that person, and let them do their job. But sometimes you have to break the rules. So here it is. Rule number one, don't go around that person you're submitting an idea to. Now, break it. This happened to one of our students just recently. They submitted an idea to a company, and guess what? They got a reply back really quickly that no, they weren't interested. In fact, it came back so quick, the student knew that something went wrong. And the student also knew that that person that he had submitted the idea to did not look at his or her video. And what happened was, since that person knew that, they weren't getting the big benefit of the idea. That's a perfect example to reach back out to that person or find somebody else to submit it to. And that's exactly what the student did. Went on LinkedIn, found the company, and resubmitted it to a different person. And guess what? They love it. Now it's going to be tested. So sometimes you have to break the rules. Thomas Edison personifies the age of invention, America's new frontier in the late 1800s. Though he is best known for the phonograph and, of course, the light bulb, perhaps Edison's greatest invention was the new way to invent, the Industrial Research and Development Laboratory. Okay, we're talking about don't break the rules. And one of the rules is that you should never pit two companies against each other. This is not Hollywood. You're not trying to get let's make a deal here. You're not trying to leverage one company's interest against the others. But sometimes it does work. And I saw this work the other day, and I've never seen this happen this way. So that's why I want to share this with you. One of our students has this great idea, sends it to 3 companies. Right away, they're all interested in it that fast. She knows there's a high interest with their idea. So this one company sends her over a licensing agreement, and they start to talk about the royalty rate and the minimum guarantees. And she told them flat out, look, there's a lot of interest here, so I'm going to ask for a little bit more. And they knew it because they wanted it. They gave her a higher royalty rate, and they increased the minimum guarantees. So sometimes you need to break the rules and leverage one against the other. But be careful, be nice. Only do it if you've got multiple offers, and sometimes it works. From the outside, it's just a brick complex of buildings, but once you get inside, you're completely amazed. The first place we stopped was his library. It was 3 stories high with so many research books. It completely blew my mind. Okay, here we go again. When is it time to break some of the rules? I always tell everybody, don't reach out to the CEO. don't reach out to the guy at the top. You shouldn't do that. But in some situations, it's perfectly okay. If the company is small enough, there's a good chance you will want to reach out to the CEO because he handles a lot of things and he's going to want to see your product idea. And that's exactly what happened to one of our students. She reached out to the CEO and she got a deal. I was a little surprised. I tell everybody, don't go to the top, because sometimes when you go to the top, they're going to push it back down to a product manager, and the product manager is going to have to do all the work and not get the credit. So don't go to the top. But in this situation, because of the size of the company, this student was able to go to the CEO and get a deal. So it does happen. Sometimes you have to break the rules. Thomas Edison died in 1931. The West Orange Labs soon closed, but reopened as a museum in 1948. Okay, let's do another one here. I tell everybody, if you're going to license an idea and you just have a prototype, go to a trade show, walk the aisles, meet those potential licensees, but don't buy a booth. But sometimes I've seen this happen. It's very rare, but it did happen about a year ago. One of someone I know, not a student of ours, someone I know actually got a booth at one of these inventors' little pavilions at a trade show. And guess what? A big company walked by and wanted to see her idea, and she eventually got a licensing deal by buying a booth with a prototype. I don't think it's a great idea, but this is exactly what she did, and it did work. So sometimes, like I said, you have to break the rules. The one big takeaway for me was all the work that this man did in his lifetime. He worked around the clock and had teams to help him solve problems. Truly an amazing experience. If you ever have the time, I would highly recommend visiting this national treasure. Okay, we're doing a whole series on breaking the rules. You've heard me talk about this all the time. Don't go after the real big companies because they're really hard to work with. They don't like to work with the smaller independent inventors types. They want to do everything on the inside. Basically, they're a dinosaur. But this would happen to one of our students. They reached out to one of the big three auto companies. And sure enough, it took a while, but they did have patents, which is kind of unusual. And at the end of the day, they did get the big deal. In fact, it was so big, it was actually a buyout, which you'd never see. So there, once again, you have to break the rules. You have to try things different if they don't work. And sometimes trust your instincts, right? This is a whole video series on breaking the rules to get those licensing deals. And in some situations, the big buyout. Until next time, this is Stephen Key, and keep inventing.